Ever look at a chessboard and just feel overwhelmed, thinking it's some kind of genius-level game? Well, I'm here to tell you it's not. In the next few minutes, we're going to crack the code on chess, and I promise, by the end of this, you'll be ready to make your first move with total confidence. Let's dive in.
Okay, first things first, before we even touch a piece or talk about a single move, we have to answer the biggest question of all. How do you actually win this game? Because once you get this one simple goal, I promise every other rule just clicks.
So let's talk about your mission. This isn't just some boring rule in a book. It's the entire point of the game. It's the objective you're fighting for with every single move you make.
Your one and only goal is to achieve this. Checkmate. It's actually a pretty simple idea. You've cornered the enemy king. He's under direct attack, and there's absolutely no way out. No escape square, no piece to block the attack. He's trapped. That's it. That's the game. That's how you win.
Now this is super important because these three situations can really confuse new players. Check is just a warning shot, The king's in danger, but he can get out of it. Checkmate, like we said, is game over, you win. But look at stalemate. This one's tricky. This is a draw. The king isn't actually being attacked, but your opponent has zero legal moves to make. So the big takeaway here is you have to aim for checkmate, not just trapping them.
All right, mission understood. Now you need your tools. So let's get you familiar with the battlefield, the board, and the army that you're about to command.
The setup is way simpler than it looks. It's an 8x8 grid. To get it right every single time, just remember these three things. First, white on right. That means the bottom right corner square for each player has to be a light one. Second, the queen always goes on her own color. And third, easy one, white always moves first. That's it.
And here they are, your army. You've got 6 different types of units at your command, and each one is a specialist, with its own unique way of moving and fighting. So, let's meet the team.
First up, the pawn, your frontline soldier. Now they move one square straight forward, but here's the trick, and it's a big one. They attack one square diagonally forward. They do have this one-time special move where they can jump 2 squares forward on their first turn, but after that, it's just one steady step at a time.
Next is the rook. You can think of this piece as a tank. It just plows ahead in straight lines, horizontally or vertically, for as many empty squares as it wants. Rooks are fantastic for controlling those long, open lanes on the board, and they become absolute monsters in the late game.
And this brings us to the trickiest piece on the board, the knight. It moves in that classic L shape. 2 squares in one direction, then one to the side. What makes the knight so special? Well, it's the only piece in the game that can literally jump over other pieces, whether they're friend or foe. This makes it your go-to piece for surprise attacks out of nowhere.
Now, the bishop. It's kind of the opposite of the rook. It moves as far as it wants, but only on the diagonals. And this brings up its one big limitation. A bishop that starts on a light square will only ever be on light squares for the whole game. Same goes for the dark squares. That's why you get 2 of them, one for each color.
And now for the queen. She is an absolute powerhouse on the board. And why is that? Simple. She has the combined powers of the rook and the bishop. That means she can move in any straight line, horizontally, vertically, or diagonally for as many squares as she wants.
Seriously, don't ever forget this. The queen is your MVP. She is the most valuable and dangerous attacker in your army by far. A huge part of the game is just protecting your queen while trying to hunt down your opponents.
And finally, the king. Now, he's not the most powerful. He can only move one single square in any direction. But he is without a doubt the most important piece. His survival is the entire point. If he gets captured, it's game over. End of story.
Okay, you know the mission, you know the army. Now for the really fun part. Let's talk about 3 secret weapon moves that actually break the normal rules and can completely change the game.
First up is castling. This is a brilliant defensive move. In one go, you move your king 2 squares toward a rook, and then that rook hops right over to the other side. Just like that, you've moved 2 pieces at once, and even better, you've tucked your king safely away from the dangerous center of the board, behind a nice little wall of pawns.
Second is pawn promotion, and this is like the ultimate reward. If you can manage to march one of your humble little pawns all the way to the other end of the board, it gets an instant, massive promotion. You can transform it into any other piece you want. And yeah, let's be honest, 9 times out of 10, you're going to want another all-powerful queen.
Now for our last special move. I'll be honest, this is the one that trips up beginners the most. So, what's the weirdest rule in chess? It has to be this one.
It's called en passant, which is French for in passing. And it's this very specific one-time only capture that only pawns can do. It feels like a cheat code, but I promise you, it's a real rule. So here's exactly how it works. First, an enemy pawn uses its special first move to jump 2 squares forward, and it lands right beside your pawn. Second, on your very next turn, and I mean only your next turn, you can capture it by moving your pawn diagonally to the empty square it just skipped over. If you don't do it right away, the chance is gone forever. It's a rare move, but it's a very cool one to know.
Okay, last section, your first battle plan. You have all the rules, but a pile of rules isn't a strategy, right? So let's finish up by giving you a simple 3-step plan for your first few moves. Forget about memorizing dozens of complex openings. Your entire starting strategy can be boiled down to these 3 core principles. If you focus on them, you'll always be in a good position no matter what your opponent does.
Here they are. 1. Control the center. Those 4 squares right in the middle are the most important territory on the board. Pieces there just control more of the action. 2. Develop your pieces. Get your knights and bishops out from the back row and into the game. An army that stays home can't fight. And 3. King safety. Remember that castling move we talked about? Use it. Get your king to safety early so you can focus on attacking. And that's it. You now know the objective, how every piece moves, the special rules, and a solid opening strategy. You have everything you need to play a full game of chess, so the only question left is the one on the screen. The board is set. What's your first move?